right, welcome back to the TQ Podcast Show. The name is redundant.
We
We
know.
back here with another episode. Is this episode 11?
This is 12.
This is episode 12.
Yes, sir.
12 weeks straight. We
That's
going
that's,
strong.
that's 3 months.
Y'all gotta
That's
understand.
3 months.
This ain't that easy. This ain't that easy on a Sunday night. Let's get it. We got a couple topics for y'all today. Now, I'm your host, TQ Aftermath 115. To the right of me, we have our highly esteemed engineer.
I prefer producer, but yeah. I'm Infinite
You mentioned
Ghost.
all the technical difficulties.
Episode 12. We back. Shout out
Be-
to
beneath me,
Shout out to the Instagram. This last reel I posted going crazy.
going
It's
crazy.
going crazy.
It's fine. All right,
Instagram is Team Quazar.
follow that on all platforms and YouTube because the shorts be fire too. And we have our highly esteemed Mr. Phoenix. Introduce yourself.
No introductions needed. It's like, nah. Let me stop acting like I'm him. But Nade, Quandinade, whichever one you want to go with. Yeah.
All righty. The first topic is actually by Mr. United. It's
Yes,
on
it
you.
is. And I would. It's not even rather a topic, or I mean, I guess it is a topic, but it's just something I'd like to point out. But I think what Ruby may finally be actually watching that. Like, there's a lot of shit that's currently going on at the moment. I'm trying to say all this without putting in any critical spoilers, but shit goes down. Like, it's like the contrast between how it started, how the show started up to now. Like beforehand, it was like, all right, it's a little gloomy. But this John, it's like they heard my rant from last week about the show and was like, bet. and now it's I'm invested. Like,
Is
for
the story better? The animation
the
different?
story is much better. They take everything that's like the problems that Ruby herself had, and they actually look at that. Like, they actually look at that. Like a prime example. That shit, how it's always, no, things are always gonna be bad, but it'll get better. She herself is like, no, I'm tired of saying that shit. I'm so fucking
So you're
tired.
saying there's character development on Ruby part, and that makes the show way more lit.
Everybody and a lot of niggas do some major design changes.
A lot of them. So all of them.
I saw Blake and Yang kiss, something like that.
Oh yeah. I'd say that's minor, but that would piss off everybody.
Depending on how it's executed, I ain't tripping. But you gotta understand. You're talking to somebody that when the last time they watched Ruby, it's like what you're saying. They pulled off something miraculous. Like where the trajectory of the story and how I felt about it personally, and for you to be recommending it now. Like now, I'm gonna go back and watch it, but I don't even know where to pick back up off of because I don't even know where I stopped.
I
I don't even know where I
say it's a little hard to say because I don't want to say like, oh, just catch up. That would require you to.
The black when the bull was inhabiting the old head was inhabiting the black bull, and it was going around trying to find the relics, and
Oh
they had
yeah.
the bull with the mask.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, he was no
And
longer fire.
Oh,
and
Adam.
that's gonna.
Adam,
Adam,
did him
yeah.
dirty.
Yeah. I think he's dead. He's dead.
And I thought, yo, I'm gonna be honest with you. After they killed Torchic, I was like, I don't know. And then they introduced good and evil. And I was like, huh.
Oh, then they had like the reincarnation young boy that was like tortured.
Yeah,
Down in hell.
the bull. And then you got
Quan said, something to heaven. He got killed or something. What happened?
he said, what? I don't even want no spoilers.
Is Salem still a villain?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Oh, okay, cool.
It's Salem. Yeah, boy, Osborn was drawn. Osborn was drawn.
What's the last thing I remember from that show? Like, what's the latest? I don't.
Last thing I remember, they did Adam Filthy.
Was that season 6? Volume 6?
That might have been it.
It was. I forget what the current volume is. I keep thinking it's like 9 or some shit.
The current one is 9. I know that for sure.
Yeah. And the last one with 8, that was the last one I had remembered before I started picking it back up. That was when they was trying to explain like Cinder's situation and all that stuff.
Oh,
that gets explained.
Wait, I think I started that and didn't finish
saw
it.
something about Cinder's situation that was not really.
It definitely wasn't it. That
she
shit.
grew up and it was a rough upbringing. Like
it was definitely not worth empathizing or sympathizing.
Literally, I remember there was a song playing during her backstory that was like, like, I'm tired of being a slave.
So wasn't it was like looking for like a relic or something like that. Like they went underground.
Yeah,
to that
it was like a
job.
wish grant. It was a question answering relic.
You
And
know
like
they had the genie. He was like,
yeah. And they was you can't.
Like, stop the cat. That's fake news. I can't do that. I can't grant a wish that exceeds my power.
But see, like the thing is with what's going on in the current episodes, like I feel like it's like if you take everything that happened in the previous situations or volumes, and then like you just really like think about it, like it's one of those things where you think about it, you like wow, nobody is like everybody catching strays, yo. Everybody
Catching streets. I mean, you recommended it, so I'm putting that in the queue. But I'm looking at you with a eyebrow raise, like dude, this recommendation clout. Like
I mean, my the bar is already in the hell for me. So, I mean, it is what it is. It can't get no lower.
Okay.
I've been seeing people like reaction channels reacting to the new season, so I'm guessing this fire because I think volume 8 I ain't see nobody react to that.
Yeah, bro, like 6, 7, and 8, it was like,
See, but that's the problem, though, right? If you go 3 straight seasons, that's how did you fix that in 9? Like, how did you fix it?
They took a couple years off, though, right?
By addressing all the problems we had with the show.
They took a couple years off, though, right? Like they waited between volume 8 and volume 9.
Oh yeah. They did take a little hiatus.
Did they get me on the staff? They got me on the team. Like, yo, what we really need is fire characters. What we really need, is OP characters.
I enjoy the world of RWBY, so I'm hoping it's good. I'm looking forward to getting back into it, though.
Yeah.
All right, Quan, just at least at the very least, tell me the fight scenes is where they used to be. They don't got Monty no more, but tell me the fight scenes.
I'm about to say it don't hold a candle to that. It's entertainable. I mean, you asking a nigga that don't really pay attention that much to choreography and fights. That's the equivalent of paying attention to bars and rap. But I will say that it's at least enjoyable.
You said it sound good. I don't know what he talking about though, but it sound good.
Yo, when he just no, D. Bars and rap is like if that holds no weight for you, you're not.
Yeah, it's that 21 Savage nigga. He don't got rap about lyrical miracle spiritual. If it sounds good, it sounds good.
Listen. If you turning your brain off to that okay, all right, I'm gonna let you have that.
It's not a matter of my brain being turned off. It's a matter of like this nigga's saying a lot of words in a very fast motion. I can't keep up. But it's going with the flow.
Listen. I will watch a battle, right? I will listen to a song. You don't catch everything on the first go through. It's impossible. Yeah, unless even if you'd have to be the person that was writing it to catch everything on the first go through.
It took me singing One Blood for me to realize this nigga was saying the gay area and all that wild shit. Like, I was like, wait a minute, the what area? Only what if you got a problem? Can of tuna? Okay, I don't think I should be singing along to this.
I only eat 40. I don't know what he was talking about.
I'm with listen. If we doing the recommendations, we doing the recommendations.
Yeah. But yeah, that was my topic. That's all I wanted to say.
All right, and another recommendation. Demon Slayer dropped today. I gotta.
Ooh, ooh,
I ain't watching, yo. I'm about to react to that John tonight. You feel me?
no, yeah, no, that joint was fire. Hey,
Yeah.
yo, you Foldable always make it a movie, like the cinematography, like when the camera move, it's like, oh, we need this. Why don't
Fire.
everybody do this? I hate when I watch a show and the camera don't move.
No, I was watching that clip for an NBA. I don't know what it was, but it was like one of those. Oh, it was. Is it wrong to pick up girls in a dungeon? It was that John.
That going terrible. Oh no, not Don Machi. Is you talking about Don Machi?
Don Machi with the
He talking about
the John. They're wrong to pick up girls in a dungeon. That's what it's called.
yeah.
Is it
That's the
isekai?
joint.
Like,
That's
is
the
it
joint.
isekai?
Yeah.
That's the joint
Is it trash joint? Is it one of them trash joints?
Nah.
with the pigtail joint
With
with
the
the
white
with the
on.
small robe in the
Oh, Bestia.
yeah,
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
that Don Machi cool. Don Machi cool. I ain't mad at Don Machi.
But it's me nitpicking, but it was like a scene where this chick was like fighting like this big minotaur bull, and it was like one of those scenes in anime you see like. You remember the Dragon Ball Z? I think it's the intro where Goku sitting on top of that like pillar, and he's like moving like this across the screen, like the camera's like it's a Goku on one side, and it's like I feel Vegeta on the other side.
And it's like,
And
Oh yeah, and it's like going in opposing directions and shit.
yeah, it's like one of those Jones in there, and like I don't know, I feel like that's like a cheat code, like.
no, listen.
I mean, that's all animation is. It's just one big ass cheat code. The only thing that make the cheat codes blend in is the special effects. And
Not every
that's
joint gonna be,
outside of it.
yo, not everything gonna be creme de la creme. So I don't evaluate everything on the basis of creme de la creme.
No, the
And my
animation
thing
was
is,
smooth
how
though.
often do you cheat?
The animation was smooth. That I feel like that shot is just like you can get cool points from that shot.
I don't
It's
like that shot.
Oh yeah. You get that shot, right? You had that shit spinning, and then you take the even further background and move that shit like you just nasty shit. Like you just get that
There's
shit.
other things you could definitely do. I'm just not in the studio. I'm not in the stew with it though. I'm like how they like imagine all the processes that they go through. Like imagine at the end of the day, it's like, hey, yo, this scene right here.
I ain't watched
man.
Damachi in like 5 years.
I ain't watching it in a minute either.
I damn near forgot the name of the whole cast. The only one I remember, I don't even remember her. She was the one that got a fucking spinoff. That's my favorite character. They gave her a spinoff, and I don't even remember her name anymore.
Because I saw another joint where boy, yeah, some of them joints be terrible. Like he would hate the shot composition, some of the frames and how they move, and you could see it too. Like you can see it. You can see how they body move sometimes. It's like, yo, this is inorganic. Like you messing the game up. Like you gotta rotate the camera. Like you can't. Your camera can't be at a fixed. It's almost like Resident Evil sometimes. Like there's a fixed camera angle. Off camera, and it's like.
I hate when like somebody walking off camera, but it's not like it's just like it's like a fucking. It's not like they walking. It's just like a fucking smooth like.
It's a fucking yeah. No, dude, I've seen like a walk scene. Like there was a scene. They was walking down the awkward, but it was like really. It was an older anime, but it was like, bro, that shit really took me out of the conversation because the way they was moving, they was like Muppets. Like if you know how you make Muppets walk and they go like this, it was like that, and I was like, oh.
That drives me absolutely crazy when I see some of that. Now, I agree with Dean. Sometimes when you see something like that, it's like die, make me. When you see something like that, it's like, no.
That's top 3 dialogue of all time.
Top 3. Said die, make me. Make you die? Not kill you, make you die. Said even if I filled her body with energy, that wouldn't make her alive again.
Bro, that shit was foreign as fuck.
Who was writing this dialogue? Like 12-year-old me?
Nah, it was a fucking foreigner. Like that's some foreign shit.
One that wouldn't make her alive again. Like that wouldn't make her alive. It's like there's a word for this, right? Like, look at all those baby cats. And you just sitting there thinking for a hot second, like, hey, yo, there gotta be a word for that. I know our language developed to the point where there's a word for that. Like, Quan, what's the baby dogs?
The small puppies.
Well, imagine the dialogue. Hey, yo, you gotta take care of the baby dogs.
Take care of the baby dogs.
I don't even know what that means.
My dog just had
I,
a whole a litter of baby dogs.
I'm
It's not-
dealing with it.
you sound-
Right, like at this point, I'm with a lot of I deal with a lot of fucking mistranslations and like just overseas shit to where like now beforehand I thought like I just think like now I just think that stuff is like just foreigners type stuff where it's like them
I
niggas
see
gotta
that.
be overseas because like there is some shit on the this Devil May Cry app game where it's localized for English, but I'm reading Virgil's dialogue and they're reading it like like it's almost like somebody in sixth grade was writing that shit, but like it's niggas that's learning English
Yeah.
trying to make that shit sound epic, and it was like he is the ultimate one. I'm like, what? Like, dude,
Yeah,
because
the
like
broke. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Why you do that? Why you do that? What? No, 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 no. And I love. I vibes. Does that even count?
Damn.
Dean,
what?
you know what I'm nah, Dean don't know what I'm talking
No,
about.
I'm just saying this is a good transition to the sub to dub topic.
Yeah, this is a perfect. I don't even know if this counts though. I don't even because how do you feel about so let's say it's in Jet, right?
NJ.
But you have English characters
Oh
in the
fuck.
Jet joint, and they
Oh
trying to talk. Is that
fuck.
what do we call it? Is that a dub? Is that technically a dub?
Ah.
What is that? Englandese? Like
That's Englandese. Oh my! It's so as an English speaking person, it's the like I don't know how bad my Jap sound like. Oh my emotion they do like hey, you like hey, yo that's terrible, right? But hearing them talk English is so
I forget
cringe.
what
It's like yo,
anime. Well,
fam,
we used to
stop.
make fun of that John for doing the English.
Damn, you're not understanding. One of my favorite anime, right?
I'm the
This
bone
is
of my
recent.
sword. That shit.
Oh,
This is so
English.
recent.
Oh.
It just stopped a couple weeks ago.
What's my Villain Saga?
Nope,
Overlord.
nope. Soccer.
Oh, Blue Lock.
Oh, blue lock.
It was some American players, and it was
Jesus.
terrible.
Is that the one where one of them is just basically PewDiePie?
You do know who cannot beat us. It's
Oh,
like
shit.
what?
Fucking Geese Howard English speaking.
You can't beat us. Look
Bro,
at you. Look at you. Play like this.
what was it? Fucking
was
Geese
so-
Howard. Whenever the start of his matches, like he just turned around and be like, "Come on, young boy."
Right. My problem is they have you had black soccer players, right? And it's like, yo, I'm telling you, I don't care in any part of the world, he would never. None of them sound like this. You would never find anybody that sounds like this, right? Like it's not possible, right? Like you had characters in Blue Lock who knew English, right? Some of the people in the joint knew English, and you do. It's like hey, you could tell this not your first, second, or third language. This might be your fifth language. And English, I'm not gonna lie to you, with the vowels and all that, English is mad retarded. Like comparatively to other languages, you don't gotta go through what you gotta go through with English. But don't speak it if you don't know it.
There was
Like,
there was a in the older Tekken games before they had every character speaking their native language. They just had everyone speaking English, and they couldn't find a voice actor for Jin, so they took the Jet voice actor for Jin and just had him speak English.
Nasty.
But how wrong had a fully casted English voice, so he was like, well, "You have a problem. I mean, if you don't have a problem, I do." And Jin was like, "Well, I do not want any problems. Please go away." And I was like, "Jesus Christ,
it was
no."
terrible.
This
And
This was before Out of My Way.
Oh,
Street Fighter Cross Tekken.
oh man, that was terrible.
All right. So
Hold
the official topic, is an anime being dubbed that you consider good, and an anime being a dub that we consider to be terrible, right? There's just two, and there's two, the good and the bad. What is an example that you have of a good dub and a bad dub? I'm gonna go with you.
I'm guessing that's me. For
All
my
right,
for my for my
producer.
for my bad, it's not. I don't think it's terrible, but I was watching a podcast and one of the people on the podcast was talking about how they was watching Attack on Titan and how they was a lot of crying in the beginning because Armin Man be crying, Aaron be he be in his bag in the beginning, and I'm thinking he watched it in English because he's one of those type people. And I could just imagine him watching that and hearing like Aaron and Armin's voice in season one, bro. Cause I watched it in sub initially, right, and then
Right.
now I'm watching the normies, the reaction channel, the normies. They reacting to it in dub, and I'm just hearing the voices like this is so fucking bad. Like especially fucking Historia, yo, she's you mean you got a commission? You mean
Yo,
It's like why
This
she's so
man's
high
like, he's
pitched,
so
bro.
so much that it muted him. Discord was like, I ain't trying to hear that shit.
They gonna hear it on the podcast though. That shit is so fucking annoying. I'm looking like, how can anybody watch this in dub, bro? How? So on the podcast he was watching, he said he stopped watching it because there was too much crying. And I'm like, why Attack on Titan? Too much crying? What is he talking about? Then I thought back to the dub, like that dub. They be like gassing it on the dub. Like I don't know why the sub when they crying or they going through emotions, it sounds so much like better, bro.
bro.
Because I again, like I always hate to bring it up every time, but it's because the familiarity of language. Like both sides of the cast, English and sub, they putting their heart out there into it. Well, for the most part, in terms of they putting their heart out into it. But because we know how niggas they actually cry in English in America, and it's like you try to over exaggerate that, it just kind of come off as cringy. Where
Don't
But
worry.
see this, but,
in
but
Japan,
this is
where
my thing though.
we don't know how them niggas be, but we know they do be heavily strict on these shit, and it's like when them niggas be crying, they do be crying.
But here's my problem, right? Like the inspiration for this video, it was a TikToker. I apologize for not being. I could pull it up in a little bit, but the inspiration for this whole topic, though, right, is when they just showed the comparative side between Broly in the first movie transforming, and the dub is so much better than. Now I don't know if that's because of the rock music playing in the back. I don't know what it
Oh
was.
yeah, bro, that's
But-
just a bluff.
but that's a buff, but the dub was so much better than the sub. Like I guess you could argue it's because I watched it dub
That's
first or whatever.
always, yeah, Dragon Ball always going in that case. The dub always gonna be better than sub. Like
Right.
the OG voices always go hard.
That's what I'm saying. Like, dude, like what? Like you what?
Like
the-
we had to be forced to get used to the sub because the dub wasn't caught up in terms of super.
yeah. That was disappointing.
All right, dog.
But-
Get my good
Yeah,
my
right.
good dub.
This your
All
good
right.
dub.
This
I
is-
already know where you're going with this.
I'm not. This is not anime, so I'm kind of cheating, but it's animated. I'm going Arcane, bro.
Arcane. Okay.
The voice acting
Yeah.
on that joint is crazy, bro.
That shit got a 10 out of 10 in everything, pretty much.
Wait, what? It was originally sub?
Nah,
no.
it's dubbed in English though, but the studio that made it is French.
I'm about to say because I never knew that's one of them ones where I never thought about it in any other language.
Oh, yeah.
It was seamless.
It got other languages, but we watch it in English because we speak English. It's not an anime. So you watch a cartoon in English.
It count. It count.
The
I
voice acting
don't
on
need
that
it.
is just so good, like Jinx and fucking Vi and fucking Silco. even
I ain't gonna-
Vander.
Arcane was fire. Like on the side, look, Arcane was fire. Like
Arcane is super fire, bro. Arcane is
the
super
only
fire.
problem I had with Arcane, it wasn't even with the show. It's just with the Black John mom. Like she was a little too familiar. Like, yo, chill. You wrong.
Nah.
You wrong right
When
now.
she got introduced, bro, I was like, damn, she just added a whole different dynamic. Cause me being a lead player, I know where she come from. I know what that country about. I'm like, oh shit.
Playing League make that show hit different, I
Ah,
suppose.
shit.
But even not even playing League, the show was fire. Like Jinx was yo, that whole situation was fire.
Yeah, like that could have. She could have easily been. She could have easily came off as like a Harley Quinn Joker clone wannabe type
It
shit.
was a little better.
Oh yeah, I did. I feel like the
She had
inspiration is
spice.
clear with Harley Quinn and Jinx.
She got spice.
Yeah, but like it's like I feel like she's her own character and shit, and like the voice acting just took it through the roof. Like the original voice actor for Jinx is not the same voice actor for Arcane. Like the one in the game is different from the one on the show.
Listen, they dropped the bag out there. They was doing their thing. They was making sure that joint was spectacular. All right.
You know,
Now
that's my pick.
we go to the other.
I guess I'm gonna start with Bad Dub because to be honest, I don't. Again, I don't want. I don't. I'm like Dean, where I don't watch dub like that. Or like y'all, I don't watch dub like that. So it's hard for me to even come across bad dub in general. But
Fair
the
enough.
one that stuck out to me the most, like it is so I was watching Fate Zero, and like I had the option to turn on the English dub, and I was curious how that sounded, and all I heard was Tosaka's voice enough to know like this wasn't for me. I think all she said was "I don't need you," and I switched it back immediately. I was just like, no, this will not do. This will not do.
You ever watch a show accidentally in dub? I'm like, oh, what the fuck is this? And you just
Yo, I'm not even gonna hold you. Some shows dub just ain't. I can't adjust my. I can't. It's almost different characters almost.
Yeah, yeah. Because I mean, like, it depends on how radic. Sometimes it difference in their voices be like crazy. Like you'll hear one character
They got a
in
match.
Jet, and then in English, like they voice deep as shit, and you're like, what? This don't even add up.
like Obito voice and Naruto.
That's a good example. The Obito voice, like you go from
That
when he's
nigga
the
was talking
masked
like
man,
this.
and then that raspy voice. It's like, yo, you're not the villain. You're not taking all the havoc for humanity. You ain't doing all that. Not you. That ain't it. So
Yeah, and I guess for the good one, this isn't even like Demon Chin a little bit. This ain't even anime, but this is a game rather. It's from it's Fantasy Star Online 2. One of the characters on there that have recently just dropped, like dude had like it was some Attack on Titan in the basement scene type shit,
No
and
shit.
dude started explaining everything, and his voice was like it was like some main villain type shit where like that shit was like he was like, I will now tell you the truth. Like it was so deep, but it wasn't like on some in the shadows type voice, but like it was all state
He's in the
type.
all state. It was
oh,
And it had but like he had the helmet on, so it had that echoey effect. And it was just so clean. So like when Bull started levitating and said like face me and let me see if you are the one, I was like, I had to turn on my own OST for it. Like it was so good.
all right, turn it on. He's trying.
It was so good. And it was like that was like one of the first times in a while where I was just like, hey yo, like I forgot to turn on the Jap dub or subs in general, but this was a mistake that I'm cool with. This is a mistake I'm cool with. But everyone else in the rest of the cast is fuck shit.
Hey, yo, I have to ask a question, right?
Uh-huh.
Does the studio, because hear me out, right? Now, when we talk about the dubs, right, and do you incorporate the changes that the studio was going for in general from an adaptation standpoint, or do you just only evaluate the voice acting?
I don't know. I think because I mean, at the end of the day, every studio work different. Like they don't. I don't. I'm pretty sure they're not all uniform.
The reason I brought this up was because
Yu-Gi-Oh?
now, mind you, where I was gonna go is I don't have a problem with how the voice acting came across. Right, I actually think it was done well in Yu-Gi-Oh. Right, the 4 Kids edition.
Yeah, I knew he was gonna go that way.
But the problem that I have is the sort look like this. Right, when I first watched Yu-Gi-Oh sub, I was so taken aback because I'm like, yo, this ain't this, but that wasn't the problem. It was a completely different anime, right? There was no shadow ring. So in my mind, how do I evaluate that from a dub perspective? This is almost a completely different show. So you're introducing new concepts into the world to phase out other concepts.
Well,
so
at that point, it's not a matter of the voice acting. That's just a matter of censoring. Like,
so you would view that ain't got nothing to do with the dub then?
Yeah, that got nothing to do with the dub. Because I mean, like, they still killed that shit. It could be the same if shit was uncensored, like, and and he would just be like, you know, you'd be like, end his life now. And, like, we will remember that line for.
Yo,
his life, and he had
bangers. They had some bangers. It was dubbed well. It was dubbed extremely well.
That third rate duels with a 4th rate deck.
That was hard. That was hard.
If Kaiba told me that, I would have had to Google that and realize that's why I don't have much money, because I'm Googling this shit.
Like, no, it was dubbed spectacular. I had no problem with the way it was dubbed. It's just when I went back to the sub, I couldn't believe how different the show was.
Oh yeah, and that's always gonna be the case. It's 3 layers to it, Jay. There's the dub, like the dialogue that they show in the dub, and then there's the subs where, you know, what they're saying on that screen, and then there's the actual Japanese dub where what they're saying is different from the translation, because it's always going to be that translation angle no matter what, because what they say in Japanese, you could translate it in English, but it won't truly mean what that means.
A great dub though, right? A great dub for me was Death Note, right? Death Note is probably one of the only animes I've ever watched where the difference between the subbed and dub was minimal. Watching it subbed and watching it dubbed did nothing to me. Like, I was indifferent to both variations, and to me, that's like the pinnacle I feel like when you dub something, you're supposed to give me the same feel I got watching it sub, and vice versa. Like, there should be no distinction. It shouldn't be no discernible distinction to be made.
That's true. But again, it's very hard to do that kind of stuff every single time. Like, you can be the best translator in the world. It's just in some pivotal moments, if it's hard to translate, then it could very much affect the scene. But at that point, it still matters how everything is still presented.
The
translation. But there was not one moment. I watched both anime from start to finish, dub and sub. There was not a single moment watching it dubbed or subbed where I felt like I was missing, like something was incongruent or there was an inconsistency. There was
again, it's like, okay, well, what were they actually saying in Jap though? Because, you know, there's different sentences and phrases and stuff like that where it just come down to the point where it's like what they're saying in Jap is still going to be different from what's actually said in English. So there might have been a pivotal point, but at the end of the day, what was presented in Death Note, the context still remains the same.
I was just about to say, like, even if the phrasing or the wording was slightly different, it conveyed the same message. Yeah. Like everything was like it was smooth all the way through.
Like if you only watched it in sub and you only watched it in dub, you know, talk about the same thing. Yeah.
Yeah, it virtually no difference. The only difference you could have is going to what Quan said. Some of the translations, because it's always there's always a translation component to it, but the message conveyed to me there was no distinction to be made. Like there was nothing. There was no sentences
And
that I'm reading.
sometimes, but the translation they is like certain parts in Japanese be like super short. So, but when it translates to English, it's like it's longer. So they gotta change it to make it short to match the words, or else they gonna
One example was right now going to what Quan said. Right, one example. I watched the video breakdown. I didn't even peep this in the first watch. It's Light says something while walking. He was walking the joint down. Right, I forget her name. He was walking it down like with the kill. I'm gonna kill her one way or another. She gotta die. Right, and he says. He says she has to have some identification on her. She's a woman after all, and if need be, I kill her with my hands. Right? In the jet though, the sentence, the way it came off in the dub made you think he was saying her having her ID is connected to her being a woman. Right? Yeah. That's how it was portrayed that's how it could come off in the dub. In the jet. That wasn't in the sub. That wasn't the implication. He was saying because she's a woman, if it came down to it, I
put my hands on her.
I put my hands if I have to. So I agree with Quan. It would never be perfect, but I feel as though Death Note got as good as you could possibly get. Like some of the heavy hitting scenes, like cool Kakagori. I only know what that is because they did it as good as they was in the dub. Like when Light first touched the Death Note and all his memories came back, boy had the evilest grin in the world. And he was like, "This is a plan. I got him." But in the jet, that cool Kakagori, like it gave me the same feel. Like boy, was like I got the dub with this one. So yeah, that would be a great dub. A bad dub.
Yeah, I had to think about that shit too.
You know the problem with saying a bad dub? It be just certain voice actors that kill my vibe. I don't even necessarily think the dub itself is terrible. It's just a couple voices that it rubs me the wrong way. Like now with Dran, I'm in agreement with him. Kuro Sensei off Assassination Classroom, his dub voice is so goofy. I don't want to say goofy. It's not a 1-to-1 match to what his sub voice was like. So in the dub, it's kind of quirky, right? Now you could partially expect that from what he looks like, but in the sub, it didn't sound like that. So it's always like an adjustment. It's like, yo, I don't know about all this. Especially, but it's weird to say something was bad, poorly dubbed when you got other good voices. Like I don't know how you balance that out. Like
usually, like certain aspects, like certain people don't hit the marks that they should. They don't hit the lines how they should. We don't read them. They don't emote how they should, or how you feel they should, or don't match the scene. Like
so you feel like Obito is off base. Here's the thing with the Obito crazy, but like you had really good voice actors in there. Like Pain is one of my favorite ones. Like from the dub to sub, there was no. To me, it wasn't a lot of distinction. Like that Almighty Push and Shura Tensei was.
Yeah, I feel like Obito is only a problem if you know his Jap voice. I mean his.
You say if you unaware, you unbeknownst to you. The problem is, I watched this sub before. Yo, it's crazy. It's crazy.
You watched the dub before you watched the sub.
Well, I watched the dub.
That was a war arc. So that was 2013.
But you had me on Viz Anime though at the Quan Crib watching the sub. So in Shippuden though, I watched the dub of Naruto, but I think I watched the sub of Shippuden first.
I think I watched the dub of both.
I don't know though. I don't know. I remember playing Storm 2 before I watched Shippuden.
Yeah,
and
Storm 2 was English.
Yeah, so I was confused. I was like, yo, who Pain? Boy, fire. But
Can I get a honorable mention for my good dub?
Honorable mention, shoot.
Hold on. This shit fire. I'm about to show y'all. This shit fire. All right, ignore my background. I got a fucking mattress on the wall. Chill out.
I didn't even notice that.
Hold on. Oh shit, my volume down. Let me turn this bitch up. Hold up.
What are you doing? Silence him!
Ah.
Stop looking down on me with that stupid smile on your face!
That nigga killed that shit, bro. That line right there, I was like, that line right there, this game good, bro.
No, if that's the case, I gotta go back to P4 with Shadow Teddy. Yo, there's a lot going on. Yo, there's a deep bag with that you could get real critical with. Stop. No, like there's a bag that you could get critical with
The
that.
video
Like,
game
Shadow
does
Teddy.
be on point, bro. I ain't gonna hold you.
Dean don't remember Shadow Teddy. That's why he don't know what I'm talking
That was the
about.
first thing I saw before. Reek was like fighting him. And
You,
shit.
so you remember, so you know what I'm talking about. The Shadow Teddy joint was
Not
that
specifically, no.
I think the
I remember the image of him. He's like creepy as shit, but I don't remember his voice.
That nigga, yeah, that's bro.
I'm trying. Let me see if I can find it.
Let me see if I can find it. What I was gonna say. Yo, no, Dragon Ball Z probably the best though. Like just for low hanging fruit. Like
I think there's a consensus that Dragon Ball Z might be like just downright the best dub ever,
because it's just so many. It's so many good. It's so many.
Most
I-
quotable
I-
lines because of the English dub.
I hate Goku Jet voice. I hate it. Sorry.
Oh yeah,
that-
yeah,
that
yeah.
is-
That's totally understandable.
But here's the problem with Goku Jet voice. It also affects Vegito and Gogeta. It's like no, this
Like
ain't it.
almost every
And the
variation.
power
Of
up don't even sound good. Sean Kimmel the only Goku I know. So
So you can't. Yeah, that don't work.
That kind of go for Naruto too. Like the Naruto dub, his voice is he voiced by an old lady. No offense,
but it
like,
works though.
Toward the end of school and
Naruto English dub is voiced by a woman too.
That's what I'm saying. Both of them are, but I feel like it hurt. And the dub more, I can hear it a little more. I'm like, she not really sounding like how like Naruto like 17 right now. You shouldn't. Have his voice no more, bro.
And it's like that voice, not Naruto voice in English dub is like it stand out so much. It can't be replicated to the point where like I hear that voice actor in other games and I'm just like, no, that's Naruto. Like in Street Fighter, I'm like, bro, that's Naruto.
Wait, who was Street Fighter?
Armika. She's a sentence away from saying believe it.
Believe you know the crazy part about it. There is no believe it in jet. That phrase was like a jet. That's an English convention. Like that in jet, there is no
That's
believe.
hilarious.
In Jap is Date Bio, but that's not. It don't translate enough into English because it's like a good luck phrase in Japanese. So they translated. They made it.
But you know what's crazy? It works though, don't it? Or at least it works for me. I never felt like that was a problem. Believe it. Like
Even like they say they Nindo in Japanese, but in English it's they Ninja Way. So they switch it up. You feel me?
as long as it works. As long as it works. If it don't work, cut it out. That's all I say.
That's my Nindo, my Ninja Way. You feel me? That shit fire though. I feel like only bad dubs aren't that common these days, but they shouldn't be. I ain't hear one in a while.
Definitely.
It's just like one or two characters that's like. I feel like in P5, like I feel like An, her voice actor, a little shit, but everybody else is fire. Like.
So the voice acting should never be like terrible. Like I don't like. What are you doing?
Like Akechi when he was going mad, he was Loki. Oh my god!
I died on purpose just to do that battle again, bro. That's
I
how
died on purpose just to do that battle.
I didn't want it to end. I knew it was going to end, and
I died not on purpose. Nigga, whoop my ass. So. He testing the waters.
Nah, yeah, because when Shadow Teddy first hit the scene, like watching that in real time, I'm like, hey, yo, that voice,
that the Daruga, he had the Daruga's voice. What do you think Daruga's would sound like?
First of all, that's an evil ass name.
Darugas.
That sounds like some evil warlock shit.
Dean remember passing ball on
He was just going past. He was just passing him by.
He said, why is that Sprite 2 times the size of any other Sprite?
And he said, why is his Pokeballs are emanating a dark aura? said, "Yo, what's up, man? I'm the champion of another region. How you been? You good?
Don't mind my evil aura. I'm just chilling out here.
Don't mind my evil auras. Hilarious. Hilarious. Kid got you
What are you talking about? I don't understand a word you're saying.
Oh yeah.
It sounds difficult because I'm not that smart. How rude. Maybe you can't tell, but I'm thinking
Nigga look like a creepy pasta.
That music too.
I know. That shit was, bro. Like,
Yo, P4 had a couple things going for it. P4 had a couple things going for it.
Y'all seen that?
Yo, the shadow voice. Yo, we gotta bring that back, man. The shadow voice is hard.
I saw something that said a P3 remake was leaked.
yeah. They showed it in the Sega that Sega show that was only in Japan, and they showed like a few seconds of the P3 remake and like a super updated version of like Sonic and Jet Set Radio.
If
But
they're
the-
doing a P3 remake, then they're gonna have to do a P4 remake. Yo, P5
Ah,
didn't even
come on, we
Nah.
can't escape P4.
It got golden already. What they're gonna do is they're gonna make they're gonna do the P3 remake, then P6 gonna come out, or 6 then 3 remake. They interchangeable. One of the two can come out first, and then they're gonna go to P1 and do that shit over again.
If that's the case, do P1 now. Let's get P1 out the way.
P3 more profitable. Got
P3 way more profitable, and then let's get P1. Actually, I prefer a P2 remake, but that's just me.
They can't
You
do
know
P2
what's
without
scary
P1
about
though, right?
remakes nowadays? Like, actually, never mind. It depends on niggas remaking. Pretty sure what was the last
Actually, there's a lot of problems with the remake angle with the Persona games. There's a lot of problems with trying to, to try to recapture the essence of what it was originally. There's no way you can modify it.
It's not even that. It's not even. Well, you mentioned modify. Yeah, I don't think they're going
That's the essence of a remake. You take the essence of the game, transport it into the modern era, and you try to keep the core elements and like refurbish, like make it modern. Like you take what was there and update it, basically, right? So if you just take RE4, the remake just took the game and gave it modern engine, right? Like what was some of
there
the
was
things
still
that
some
came in the game
stuff in
originally?
the original. There was still some stuff in the original that kind of in the remake. But that's what I was saying. Like there's some stuff in there that like still gets taken out. Now, mind you, some of those were a bit minor and small. Like it was just small little dialogue and stuff. But like the way some things happened, like for an example, like there was a scene in the old RE4 where Leon was like coughing up. He started coughing up blood and he barged into the house and passed out. On the remake, he passed out on a boat. So it's like two entirely different areas where he passed out.
You can modify a couple elements for whatever reason. You're gonna modify a couple elements.
You have to if you want to make
Yeah,
a remake.
you're not going to have a 1-to-1 remake. Like you're not just going to take. But the point that I'm making is the Persona 1 game, how it was played. That if you were to changing the end, it'll be a completely.
I wouldn't doubt it being a completely different game because I'm sure the gameplay was vastly different than it's fucking all the other ones.
That's what I'm saying. So if you were to take it from then to today and try to, I'm not even sure if you could keep all the same story elements. There was some
another radical change in terms of remakes is Final Fantasy. They turned that from a turn-based combat to action-based combat. So
And
like that
that's
caused like a
fire.
little bit of a split in between the fan base.
But here's the thing, though. Well, I mean, the city was fire. PSP.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
incredible. They made a modern that was like that slipped right under everyone under head.
I got it
Like
I got it on my PlayStation.
He said they ain't slipped me.
Oh no, I downloaded it. I ain't played though.
yeah, you might as well not. That shit dead as fuck. It's an online only.
Well, I say all that to say the remakes. A remake of 2 would be fire though. Remake of 2.
They got the one. They got the one too. They got the one though. They got the one first.
Bro, how they go? You know they not going.
You know what it is? Part of it is I wasn't crazy about 1, so I'm not even stressing like you leaving 1 alone. Like let's get straight to 2 because 2 was alright. Like
That's what I'm saying, nigga. You just wanted 2 because it ended.
Evil.
evil, evil. No, I mean 1 just wasn't. You know what? The rebuttal to it is that's why you would remake 1 to do it justice. That'd be the rebuttal to it. Like if you modernized it, made the character, but there were some localization issues. There was a couple different issues with how 1 panned out.
Different times back then.
Different times back then. Facts. So we'll
that
see what they do.
RE5 remake though.
The RE5. That
Man,
RE5. Hey, yo, Dean don't know. Dean doesn't know this. I'm going to get RE5 when it's remake, and I'm going to play it no matter what. The other remakes, I wasn't as in. I'm like, yo, I watch the gameplay. Some of these joints is fire. But I don't have to play it. I have to play RE5
Yeah,
remake.
I have to. Bro.
I played RE5.
I feel
I
like
have
Dean's
this.
finna speed run that joint.
that
He
joint.
capable.
Bro.
He got speed run material, bro. Like he know everything, every nook.
Unless they change it, bro. Yeah, I'm being doing like 2 hours. Unless they change
I'm trying to figure out how they gonna like set it up.
They gotta do the
Like,
co-op though. That's the hard
the
part.
co-op joint to make it fire
Oh,
too.
yeah.
Co-op.
People were
Yeah.
saying they're gonna.
They might pitch that joint though. They might
They
ditch
can't
that joint.
remove the co-op, bro. That's made 5-5.
Exactly.
It was arcade.
But you know, a lot of people didn't rock with 5 though. A lot of people ain't rock with 5.
Huh? Who said that?
You
If
said-
you
because they
if you
feel
ain't
like-
rock
they feel
with
like
5,
there
rock
was
with
like this
6, what's
bridge
wrong with it?
divide between what RE used to be, right? Well, actually now, but I don't really see that being an issue now because you
I'm about
only
to
gonna
say,
play it with tank control.
That's
anyway.
it's smoke and mirrors because what it is that it was RE1 and 2, and then like if you mention 3 and talk about it ain't like the good old days. I mean, 3 was pretty scary, but like it still had that same campy energy that 4 did. Like first off, you have Leon Kennedy as the main. Like that nigga is a one-liner. That nigga is a Marvel character in a zombie apocalypse. Where did everyone go? Bingo.
I mean, they felt like they like this. There was a split at 4 where it was like, yo, you left conventional methods. Like what was this? What this was? You kind of sort of left it and went did in a different route, and they felt like 5 doubled down on the route that 4 went. Now, me personally, I didn't play the earlier Resident Evils.
I think
I might have played some. I think I played a couple of them, but I never. I was terrible at the.
And
I
not to
can't do
mention,
nothing.
and not to
no.
mention, it's one of those
No.
things where the writing was on the wall plot wise. Because with them viruses, it was only meant to make. It was originally meant to make super niggas. Like it wasn't supposed to make super zombies. So like once Wesker came into play, it was like, okay, well, this was obviously supposed to happen. Like this is what that shit was created for. It was meant to make everybody like that.
my take on the Resident Evil fan base is that 1, 2, and 3 they all like in the same boat than originally, and then 4 deviated more. But people regard 4 as the best RE game. And then when 5 came out, it was 4 but more arcadey and it was co-op. Cause 5 was RE5 was literally in the arcade. I played it in Georgia with my cousins. That's when I first.
Was you ever?
That's
was you
crazy.
ever nervous? Was there ever any like spookiness when you playing 5?
Only that first mission because there's so many niggas and then the boy with the big ass joint come in. Like when I first did that, I was like, oh shit, where the fuck am I go?
That's like one of them. You wake up from the dream sequence. Like once they notice you. Like, I don't know why you're not ducking behind the counters. You're in foreign territory. I don't know why you just out and about. Like I would have been
hiding under the desk. Like
The most terrifying part of 5 though was those fucking beetle Jones that come up and fucking grab you. They got the Jones on their chest after the big ass
Oh
spider.
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
not gonna lie to you though. I think the problem with 5 is, unironically, the fear factor is just nowhere near. It can't be.
Yeah,
that.
it's almost gone because them niggas are shooting at you.
Not that. That's the shooting at you is true, but it's co-op.
It's
So
all those things. It's the co-op, so you're not alone. Then it's the guns and shit. You can get infinite ammo, rocket launchers, magnums, and shit like that.
The Magnum, stop playing with me. The Magnum, like, hey yo, Quan, that was so cheating. The Magnum with the bottom of the clip just made the game. It's like, all right, who in the way? But that's the old. Huh? It took more than one. All right, another one gonna put you down though.
That shit gonna be crazy when they bring that back.
Bro,
Like-
all they gotta do is, bro, is just lower the tone a little bit, make it a little more scary, to dim the lights a little bit. If you're gonna play by yourself, make the CPU more responsive and more things.
They
come on.
one of the complaints they
There
had.
ain't no
was-
fix the Sheva. They didn't even fix Claire. Like
they
she's
said,
still getting mollywopped by zombies whenever Leon.
Well, I mean, she's supposed to though. She's literally a danger and distress. Like Sheva is another combatant.
Ashley?
Yeah,
Who?
Ashley. I said.
You said
He said clear. He definitely said clear.
I was like,
Ashley,
damn.
Ashley
Yeah,
is a
Ashley-
defenseless little girl. Like
Until you play as her, you can suplex zombies and shit.
said you could suplex. She shouldn't be able to do that though. Like she
It's
it should
Resident
be up for her.
Evil.
Like you saw a zombie, you getting spooked. Like Sheva had the. She's like, Chris, what's up? You strapped? I'm strapped. Like it's up like that. So Chris. So yeah, they gotta fix the AI on the.
They gotta remove the QuickTime events.
That's all.
I fuck with the QuickTime events, but they gotta remove those Johns.
Oh no.
I feel like
Get rid of all the quick
What they gonna
times.
do is they gonna double down on them.
Get rid of all the quick time events.
What they gonna do is, if you fuck up now, that nigga's getting mutilated. Where before, if you put the chainsaw in that nigga, they would cut it out right before he start getting cut the fuck up. But now that nigga getting sawed in two. Like,
I'm not a
that
big
was-
fan of
that
cutscenes.
was like-
It's like you could lose all of that because I ain't tap X fast enough. I ain't even know Wesker was about to shoot and decapitate me. Like he had the gun in his hand, you ain't press X and then he decapitate. What is it? It was RDC World where they had they did a skit on the QuickTime events.
Oh,
Where Bull's holding the baby, then the baby pulled out a gun and he got to shoot the baby, and it's like
nah, there's a icon event with fucking Kingdom Hearts, right? So it has Sephiroth in there. So like when you fight Sephiroth, it's at the beginning of the boss battle. The screen will be panning and shit, and he'd be like, "Let me test your strength." And the second the match starts, he just says enough, and you got like almost half a millisecond to respond. Because if you don't, he instantly kills you. You don't know what's coming. You don't know what he's about to do. You just about to move around and adjust what's going on. And then he just goes enough and fucking slashes past you and kills you.
Elden Ring. So Elden Ring, Melania took that from Sephiroth Kingdom Hearts.
She's the same
Shit,
thing.
might as well.
I mean, she do that a little bit. Like when you first fight Melania, the very first time you fight her, she start the fight off dashing towards you. Like
Oh,
typically,
okay.
every other boss walks up to you. Melania starts the fight off, jumps and leaps towards you, and if it connects, you probably did, depending on how much HP you got. So
But yeah.
that's fire though. That's the way you start off a boss fight. I
Mhm.
just don't like quick time events because I don't be your man. Like
Niggas don't be
only
on their
time is
toes.
fire
No,
was in Storm.
what it is with quick time events is that, like, I mean, I understand it's a quick time event, but it's like
The only
it's
time it's
a
fire.
middle ground. It's a middle ground. It's a
The
middle
only
ground.
time it was ever fire was in Storm. Now I don't know if that's my Naruto bias kicking in, but every time it was Storm, I had to get the stars. I'm like, yo, this joint hard. Like, and it was what? Come on.
No, though quick time. I mean, now it's funny as shit bringing that up.
Was
Like,
Budokai
not even
3
Storm, not even
Budokai 3
Storm,
had quick time
Ultimate
events?
Ninja, not even Storm, just Ultimate Ninja. Because when you did Ultimates and Ultimate Ninja, it was quick time events, but there was like button motions, and like they would keep on going. So you had to press square, triangle, circle, circle, X, square, triangle. It was like you was doing the actual ninjutsus with your hands and shit.
That's what made it. That's why it was fire. So the question I asked you is, did Budokai had quick time events?
No,
Like when you
those
hit the
that was
ball,
rock paper scissors. That
and
was rock,
we had to press the button. It would depend on whatever you press and whatever I press determines
was-
whether or not my
that was
combo
rock paper
lands.
scissors. Nigga, I would just take out my phone, go like this, and be like, "See, I see Demon the Glare pressing circles. Let me just press circle."
Like, I used to be sick when they stopped the joint early. Like, oh, I ain't get no damage off on it. Oh, I was supposed to
That
get
shit,
like
that shit was hot. And in Budokai too, the fusion dance, you had to do the button sequence, and if you fucked it up, you fucked up the fusion.
That's kind of trash, though. I don't like that. I don't want to fuck up the fusion. The fusion, man.
Hey, it was as strict as the actual fusion dance. You get that motion off even a little bit, you come out fat as shit.
I ain't mad at quick time events. It's just you gotta do them right. That's all. Gotta do them right. Don't have me like don't. It is a quick time event. I mean, I don't know what they're gonna do with RE6. You gotta figure out what they're gonna do with RE5, but RE6.
Oh,
I
Jesus
don't
Christ,
even know.
sorry, six. I don't even want to speak about that one. I
Just
missed
throw it
out on
away.
that one. I knew from the jump that wasn't going to be what I was for.
You said throw it away.
All those shooting zombies and all that stuff gotta go, bro.
Bro, I played the demo. I was like, this isn't Call of Duty. Niggas were shooting rocket launchers in the warehouse. Okay, now it's Resident Evil play. Bro, like, I just got done running from, like, is the big ass blob monster going to pull out an AK as well?
Yes. You pull it back up.
He got a stern ass, a fucking appropriate voice and shit with a monocule in his eyes. Like, nigga, are you even a zombie?
All right, we done with this topic. What's the next topic?
Yeah, we move on. We move on.
Next topic. Underrated weapons.
Underrated weapons. Shit, we just brought out the AK. It's like, nah.
That one was not no.
Actually, the
I mean,
74
considering this generation, might as well be. You mentioned the AK. You mentioned the AK 74. Any of them Jones, they'd be like, "What? You mean the KN 92? Shit."
You mean the AN 74?
I don't like
Yeah.
nothing with a sloppy iron sight. If I can't use this without the dot sight, I don't really want it. Like, you know, and almost every AK I
And
had
I'll
was
take
a little
the
cap.
Tar 21 any day. Nasty
Every
ass iron sight.
AK,
And the and the
every
recoil
AK
was-
I had was a little choppy. That's all I'm saying.
I mean, the gun
did.
itself, like that
Every
gun,
AK had a shake to it.
because the gun is running on wood. That shit is made out of.
No, I need the
You
joint
shoot
from
with that gun, you can
Kalishnikov.
see the smoke peeking out of that joint. It's almost about to catch fire.
I need my joint manufactured in Kalishnikov. That's what I need. I can't use the non-Kalishnikov version. That joint not it.
Bro, you shoot a tar on the ground and it crash everything within a 60-meter radius.
The inspiration for this topic was I seen somebody like mimic. I seen something on like a manhwa and they mimicked Kimimaro from Naruto, like when he originally pulled his spine out of his back and used it as a sword.
Oh, okay.
When I first saw that, I thought that was some of the hardest. Yo, I thought that was so fire, bro.
Because it's the equivalent of having a sheath on your back, but instead it's your spine.
He pulled his vertebrae out and used it as a sword, and he was shooting his bone fingertips is like bullets. Like that to me was so metal. Like it's things like that's like really intricate. Like now I'm not 1,000% sure how many weapons we would consider like super fire. That's like underrated. Like, what's a weapon you think is underrated?
Underrated but fire?
Yeah.
I mean, well, when you say underrated, that means everybody don't know about.
Or not just not know about, just underappreciated. Like, what's a weapon that people use?
Well, I still think it's generally underappreciated. So I mean, I'm gonna just go Pandora's Box from Devil May Cry. Like everybody underestimate the fact that that shit can turn into anything.
I mean, I don't underestimate. I stole it. Like I got.
He said he stole it. Jay, that's the thing. Dante opens that shit as a taunt. His taunt is opening Pandora's box, and he closed that shit like this is a little
That's
too much.
kind of hard.
That's a hard flex right there. Like I could do this to you, but
And not only is it a taunt, it stuns all enemies within that radius.
that's fire.
He put his foot on top of the box, open that shit with his foot, and then that shit just stuns all enemies. Like,
That's fire. That
That's hard. That's hard.
that's
hard.
why Dante like top 5. He's like, on what list? All of them.
Top 5, they're alive.
what list?
I don't know. Now that I think about it, I don't even know. The topic was when he pulled the spine, I'm like, yo, like what? Like if, but now that I think about it, that's a stupid question. Like why don't more people do that? They be paraplegics.
They will not be able to walk. Indeed.
That's also not a very common concept of a weapon using your spine. as a
Your
weapon.
bones.
The
I mean,
the only thing I can think of is something like that that's close as it gets is something from Chainsaw Man. But like that's like super different.
Now Kishimoto was in his bag with that one.
I'm trying to think about other weapons. Like what's a weapon? Because sword's not underrated. We know sword's not. Like everybody got everybody.
It's not even the sword itself because I can go say a gun sword.
A gun sword.
Yeah,
Not
so
not the joint that old school military hit joint had.
No. That's a bayonet. That's a bayonet. So what it is a sword, but if you point the sword at a nigga, so it's like let's say you slash a nigga, right? But you could also point it at that nigga, and then there's a trigger on the handle of the.
So you're talking about like there's a gun in the hilt of the sword.
Yeah. Just look up Squall from Final Fantasy. He's the best example of.
We're talking about,
so you got a gun. Okay,
you talking about shooting the blade of the sword at the opponents? Or you talking about shooting at bullets?
It's not the blade of the sword, but like the like it's a gun. It's a
hilt.
gun in there. Yeah, like there's a gun in the hilt.
Oh, okay, got you.
So but who was your manufacturer for that? That's a different joint. Like that's a different joint. Like I don't know how you made that happen.
Yeah, whoever that blacksmith was, that's him for real. Like he could take weapon concepts and I can make it happen.
I mean, I think Ruby was along that line too. Like, didn't she have a gun? Her sight could shoot bullets.
But I mean, like when you think about it, every weapon in Ruby is a weapon blade. I mean, a weapon gun.
Like what he just basically said is make your weapon shoot bullets regardless of what it is, and it's going to be fire.
Because I mean, like just look at Yang. That shit's look at Blade. That shit's a fucking a long range John, but it also is a G.
Yeah, that's fire. I'm trying to think. I can't really think it. I can't really call it because I feel like you know what it is. Like a scythe. Like a scythe is fire, but it's not I don't think it's underrated.
What it is with scythes is that scythes are extremely impractical weapons in nature. So it's in itself it's a dope ass long range weapon. But like conventionally, it just feels impractical. But then on top of it being a long range weapon, it's also a sniper.
It's a scythe though. Like if somebody had one, you know how metal is scythe. Like who do you know who was weak sauce with a scythe?
You gotta be devious with a scythe. You have to be.
That's what I'm saying. Like you using that
like
weapon.
It's on the top of my head.
I
gotta dig deep.
I feel like scythes are underrated though.
I mean, is it the Reaper? That's the Reaper main weapon. The the personification of death uses a scythe.
Yeah,
what does that tell you?
In most shows, only the Reaper has a scythe though. You don't see like a regular nigga walking around with a scythe.
Yeah. Like
you know how metal. You just sealed your fate. Now somebody got to use a scythe.
I'll use a scythe, nigga.
No. I'm talking about a scythe at the top and the bottom. Like it's like you know what I'm saying?
A double-edged scythe.
A double-edged scythe would be crazy. Right. Somebody make it happen. A double-edged scythe would be ridiculous.
I've seen that before.
Right?
And then they do the pit hitting ya.
The crease gonna do so badly. This nigga talk about pit.
You gonna do the pit hitting ya like
that's an underrated weapon right there. Well, honestly, because like he would put that shit together, and then like he'd just be going in with that joint, and then he could split that shit. And it was hard because like it was intact with his game.
It's gonna look like a fidget spinner. the double-edged scythe looking like a fidget spinner. No, I don't know. The daggers. Lances. I don't know what's a weapon that you like. I don't even. I brought up the topic. I didn't even know.
Nigga came into this shit unprepared.
I just had one. I lost it.
Like, what's a weapon? Like a bow and arrow? Like, what's a weapon that you find metal? Like, that's critical. Like, that's like, yo, they don't vibe with this enough.
Oh, I got one. It's not a weapon, but it's like a fighting style. It's like when Killer B fought Sasuke for the first time. He had all the swords in his arms and his legs and shit.
Yo,
That
see,
shit
no,
was
let's
fire.
not go to fighting styles because you already know.
The crane, this motherfucker. And he tried to do the fucking hap keto.
Yo, what? Yo, that's on fire. That's on hard. Somebody, we still in that. Somebody gotta use that.
Go
They
ahead,
bob and weave with it.
What's what the crane shit?
Both. They
Both.
intermix. You know, because you remember you used to be able to switch styles mid fight, like with the.
Oh,
Like-
that shit was so good. That shit was
That
so
was
good.
fire.
Yeah, the sword
That was
stance
so
too.
fire. That was so fire, bro. I don't know, man. The weapon angle difficult. Like, you know, no, because that's like almost exotic. Like, I don't know why you using whips. That's like domination.
That is another under weapon.
I just remember Elden Ring letting you use any fighting
Thing.
style, any weapon you wanted to use. So it's like you had great swords, katanas. A katana is just a sword though. But it's like one of the better swords though.
Oh yeah.
Like a katana,
I
and then
mean,
they
at
flip the
base is
blade
generic
thing.
as fuck. But
you
it
know
tells a
how
lot
hard
about
that
the
is?
character.
You know how fire that is when they flick the blade clean. Like
Oh,
they
dude,
decapitate
look at
somebody.
this. When they
when they
take
put
the
on the
blade
arm?
and go like this.
That's hard.
Yo.
That's hard too.
Yo, the unsheath, they run past you. They unsheath their sword.
When they
The ver-
unsheath it with the thumb, just be like.
Yeah, that's the Virgil move right there. He walked past you, and then he putting his blade back in the sheath, and he's like, "I just decapitated everybody here."
Every fire was Zenitsu do it too in Demon Slayer. Like you never see him slice. He always you always see the yellow flash. He just fucking
Yo, bro,
decapitate
that
niggas.
going hard. Yo, the katana that might be the best sword. Is it?
It's a certified banger. Like
It has
it's
the-
always,
it has
it's always gonna be top three.
Certified hood classic.
Yeah, like,
Certified
it's always gonna be top three.
I would say the aesthetic is I think it has the most flavor from an aesthetic standpoint, but I feel like the great sword or like just the Excalibur type energies, like you don't really get like Excalibur.
Excalibur a great sword?
No, that's like a regular like
That's like a knight sword, right? Like a
yeah,
standard.
it's like a nice sword.
I'm trying to think.
Shit like Claymore is like fucking that's Dragon Berserk.
I ain't never liked using the heavy swords though. In
Yeah.
other words, so I ain't even. Fan
That's
of
because it's because at that point it depends on Ike from Fire Emblem. He was holding a two-handed sword with one hand, casual.
And him and
What
Cloud,
about axes?
Him and Cloud got them big ass swords.
They strong as shit.
How you feel about
Like,
axes?
Axes. That again, that always goes to whoever using it. But it's like I always imagine a big nigga or an executioner using the axe.
When I go back to the sword though, Deem already know. Like if it got looting too,
Chill out. Sharpness 5.
sharpness 5, like that diamond sword was creme de la creme.
The Minecraft sword is underrated.
I don't know, man. The underrated weapon section. I thought about it, but I can't think of many weapons. Like you got.
I feel like
Fine, you
whenever
love crossbows. You gotta feel like crossbows is underrated because that was your real Elden Ring build.
I do not fuck with crossbows because it's too many.
He said,
I like guns.
I like guns, nigga.
So guns.
Like,
What type? So what's the best?
Not even just guns. So like shit like like we're talking like automated like sentry type guns. So like that shit would be like on your shoulder. Oh, that's another convenient underrated John. The shit that Doom guy got. So he got a grenade launcher that like explodes on impact, but it come out from his shoulders. So like when he fired, it just launches up, fires, and like it's normally like a flame grenade or a ice grenade, and it frees whatever comes into contact with that shit.
That's metal too.
But for me, I'm always gonna go with the sentry aspect. So like there's like shit like orbitals from like Gradius or like shit that like it hover around you and it lock on to whatever you look at.
It'll
that's fire. I ain't mad at that. I'm not mad at that. Actually, now that you said that, some of my characters just gonna adopt that because that's
One
that's
of
a little
mine
metal.
already got that. Shit, I wouldn't be mad if you did that. Shit.
That's a little metal. I mean, me prefer the snipers.
I watched the same
Like
thing.
a wiggy boom headshot, and
I
it
like
was falling guard
I
from
like
the calling card.
lever action joints. Like you shoot one time, you got blah.
Oh yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
fuck,
That's how you know it's gonna hurt.
I
Like
fuck,
this will hurt.
this will hurt, but it's a boom
And then
headshot.
they take a deep breath, the eye through the scope, and then you see the bullet the bullet travel angle, like you in the screen rotate behind the bullet travel, and then see blood. Yo, that joint
That's how
that
Side
joint
was
spicy
when
too.
she popped that Izzy.
That's what made me always. That's what made me hate it quick scoping, right? Because like the practicality of quick scoping.
Yeah,
Like
that shit.
you
That
really
whole
running
concept
around with a
is
long rifle talking about you doing this, Dean.
that shit is blasphemy, bro. Like,
I hated it. I hate like practically speaking, that's worse than like a boomerang. Like that
Yeah.
you telling me he's
Hold on, boomerang.
boomerangs are extremely underrated because it's hard.
but Quan, let's be real. Boomerangs, if you had an issue with the scythe being impractical, boomerang has to be the worst.
Of course, I don't even
practically speaking-
qualify it as a weapon.
Oh, it was underrated, bro. Captain America shield.
Oh,
Captain
yeah.
America shield is
yeah.
fire. Yeah,
He'll throw it at somebody and it disobeys the law
It
of
pretty
physics.
much is a boomerang.
And
Yeah.
come right back to him, and if they got like a device on his arm that pulls the vibranium back to his arm.
Oh, that's fire.
That's
so
fire.
that-
That's fire. I'm not mad at that.
Damn, real funny realization. So you think if he used that on Wolverine, he'll just fly right to it?
I think
Wolverine.
both about Wolverine claws.
That'd
'Cause
be
I
funny.
ain't mad at Wolverine claws.
Wolverine.
Although I don't even want claws though, to be real with you. If I wanted a weapon,
He a mutant, so.
I'd rather
He was
have these than like these. Like,
Oh
Yeah,
yeah, see
yeah,
too.
let's run around
These
scratching
are
niggas.
I was scared. What you a
if
cat?
you don't grow up,
Scratching
like
niggas?
grow up, nigga. Run around scratching niggas.
Nah, I'm good on that too. I'm good on that. Scratching is crazy. Scratching is crazy.
There was some
Scratching
shit I
on-
saw. There
bite,
was some shit I saw
he
where,
scraped the lip.
where they took like a spin on his concept, like because you know how Marvel is with the multiverse. So like there was one where basically Wolverine and Spider-Man was kind of like fused together in some way, but like because of that fusion, instead of him having the claws come out from where he was, they had like the you know how Spider-Man had like that suit with the spider legs coming out.
Yeah.
That they was like adamantium though. I was like, that's pretty cool. That was
That'd
pretty
be
cool.
fire. The fucking
Yeah, so like when that nigga
Yeah.
turned, like, that shit just come out his back.
the instant kill move.
Thanks.
I'm trying to think of weapons. Like what's a what like and then the brand like a variation of the question is what could be a weapon that you don't typically think of? Like because I remember Killer was using yo-yos.
Oh, yeah.
Oh
And
yeah,
that was a little
They
grippy.
had 3-ton yo-yos.
that
3
So
ton.
Gong was using a fishing
was like the
pole.
only character
fishing
that
rod.
I've seen use yo-yos as a weapon. Nest. Like,
Like what else could be used as a weapon that's fire?
Wing signs the paper. Put his nin in the paper through that bitch.
Or Killer with the card. I mean, not
if
Killer.
we're thinking along the aspect of anime, anything can be a like
Yeah.
Jay.
That's what I'm saying.
That shit'll just be like, all right. For real, like it's that simple. Like anything can be a weapon.
A weapon I fucked with from when I was a young boy was Jet from Avatar. He had the little hook swords with the hooks on the
That
end.
New Jones was alright.
Oh,
too.
yeah,
The hook was
yeah,
alright,
yeah.
alright, too. I ain't mad at that. I just feel like I don't know, like a sword, like come on,
I
like
was
I don't.
I was like single shot accurate shit, like bow and arrows. Like you got one shot to make and you hit that.
Yeah,
and be
yeah.
accurate. I like those type. That's why I like snipers too.
That's why I said
sniper.
snipers was like that. That's why, man. But the bow and arrow, like yo, you that I don't know. I'm not 1,000% sure that could even be like super duper. Like I guess you could make it super duper litty, but like
You can
if you
make it.
got a bow and arrow, you might as well be a sniper. Like I don't.
Just look at fucking what's his name from
Hawkeye?
you know what? Hawkeye, yeah. That nigga can't miss.
Yeah, he literally don't miss.
Yeah, but you shooting arrows. Is that
he
legal?
said he said it in the
with
movie.
the arrows. It's the applications of what he do with the arrows. Like
Like,
he got them doohickeys.
it was one scene in I think it was Civil War where he went to go not rescue, he went to go get Wanda, the Scarlet Witch from the building that she was in, but she's being watched by Vision, and the Vision got the fucking Mind Stone so she could shoot lasers and shit. So he came to the building, he took his arrows out of his backpack, stuck them on the walls, and was like, "Come on, Wanda, we gotta go." And then Vision came in like, "Where you taking her, bro?" And then Vision tried to walk forward, and the arrows he put on the wall shocked him, let him and like froze him in place and shit like that. So he get real creative with his arrows. That's why I fuck with him.
Okay, all right, I'll put some respect on his name, but in my back of my head, I'm thinking a real bull going like a real threat going to say.
Oh yeah, Vision did.
It's Vision though, Jay. He has the Mind Stone in his head. He's like,
Vision did like he saw he was being zapped from the arrows. So he blasted with his Mind Stone. Then he walked over to the Hawkeye and put him in the fucking yoke.
you shouldn't have continued to see.
All I'm saying is, if you a bow and arrow expert, you have to have so many other things going for you. If you just a bow and arrow expert, I see somebody yoking you up. I see somebody putting you in the choke. What did he say? He said bow and arrow bull, Hawkeye.
But he said that in a fight though. He was fighting Ultron. He was like, "We're fighting an army of robots. There's niggas with flying suits of armor, the Thor and Captain America, and I got a bow and arrow. None of this makes sense, but we gotta go." Like he got a bow.
No, I can respect. I can put respect to his name for being in the mix, but like when I see a bow and arrow, like imagine me being able to do all types of damage to civilization, and you shooting arrows at me. Like, I'm gonna look to the left, and I'm like, I'm not even gonna kill you. I'm gonna just
Hawkeye fuck around me.
This nigga Drake will be like, "Yo, I'm not being disrespectful, but."
Like, imagine Dante said, "All right, now I'm evil," and Hawkeye pull up with a bow and arrow.
All right, but
You better have Infinity 1 on that joint. You better have Infinity 1 on that joint.
Man,
Look,
Power
there
5.
there was another joint where like so this on the DC, right, where the Batman was displaying all the weaknesses of the Justice League members. So then he got the Green Arrow, and he was like, "Green Arrow bankruptcy."
Bear in mind this, right? Here's the problem. I always do this negative angle. Sometimes I envision a character, I'm like, all right, so what would he do in X situation where he's uncomfortable, right? If I could think of too many situations where he's uncomfortable, it's like imagine all right now, like if it's a real threat and you shooting arrows at me, like in my head I keep just seeing the ball dodging, like
He said, "I keep seeing." Well, that's the thing, Jay. You keep putting them in a 1v1. Put regular niggas in situations like that, they always almost gotta have help.
you ever
Like
watch the Scorpion King
the Scorpion King
With The Rock?
with the Rock? Yeah, it was the Rock. Yeah, the Rock was one of the movies. Yeah, there was a king, right, and this is how he would practice, right? Beam, you no, actually, just a side point. You remember RE5? He was on top of them crates.
Yeah.
And you had the knife out. And what would you try and cut?
I was trying to block the arrow, nigga.
You had time to cut blocking the arrow to get the trophy. All I'm saying is,
This on fire about bow and arrow niggas. Like niggas, like they from the Fate series with bow and arrows. They dangerous.
see, that's the difference though, right? If you brought up archers, name an archer that was specifically a bow and arrow ball. Because every archer had other stuff going for it. That's what I'm saying. If you want to be
archers were hardly even archers.
That's what I'm saying. Like, Gilgamesh wasn't. I don't know why he was still in an archer class. In India, he was technically he was an archer because he wanted to be one, but it wasn't like he was. Like, if you ran down on India thinking shit was sweet, then you do realize in one of the routes he killed Hercules like 7 times.
Nah.
And there was no archery there. It was all handwork. It was all these. So So the
It's
bow and
almost
arrow, like that's
around
fire.
being called a saber face. Like that's how I see that shit.
So I'm not trying to downplay the bow and arrow because it comes off as that. Like it sounds like I'm downplaying them, but
I
I
mean,
think you're just downplaying regular niggas in a situation with natural
all I'm
niggas.
saying is it can't be the only thing going for you. Like if you are good at archery, you might need to be just as lethal with the hands.
oh yeah,
I
Hawkeye,
go for any
Hawkeye
other
is.
weapon, nigga. Well, what if I'm just good with a katana?
Why? I don't even play this game. I haven't played this game in ages, right? Neverwinter, right? This is really important. When you pick the ranger class, the ranger class had dual functions, right? It was one of the only class that had dual functions. And it was like, what do you mean by that? You had the opportunity, like you had as a ranger, you also you also use daggers, right? Like in close range, in close proximity, you use daggers because if you were I don't know how to explain it. It had a 2-tier fighting. It was a dual wheel fighting system, like for rangers though. Like mages didn't have this. Like if I was casting spells, I didn't get the opportunity to get up and do fisticuffs, but rangers did. So, like even this going even in Neverwinter. Like so, I don't even.
My man Hawkeye is lethal with the hands too.
I'm not saying. Listen, I'm not
You gotta
saying
be
he's
in Avengers.
terrible. I'm just saying, like, imagine Pain is levitating in a leaf, and those who don't know pain shall never know peace.
Hit him with an arrow. It'll stop his ass.
Take the that anti chakra fucking arrow. That's
Now
your pierce right
we
through the
talking
fucking shit.
anti-chakra arrows, right?
Yeah.
Like, this is my problem, Dean. I keep envisioning it like, Keedy Morrow. Keedy Morrow was alright because he was creating the arrow with the he was like able to manifest a substance, and he was shooting at Neji, and Neji was dodging that joint, but he was controlling the trajectory of that. Certain stuff, like you can make the arrow hit, but it has to be like you gotta add something to it. Cause the bow and arrow itself. You said who?
That was the point we was trying to make earlier. Like that's why we brought up Hawkeye. Because that nigga he's got a fuck ton of shit that goes along with his
he don't got regular arrows. He got like all types of arrows and shit.
It's like yo, we gotta go stop Thanos, and I'm looking at, and all I got is Hawkeye with me, and it's like, damn. We might as well get a nigga the stones then. We might as well give him the stones now.
There was a fucking Family Guy skit where like the Avengers was hiring new. So like they had Black Widow in that bitch, and it was like, so what can you do? And she was like, I can kick really good. I was like, you're a smart fucking guy.
I was like, all right, yo, we gotta go stop Thanos. What you doing? I got hands. That's it. The military sergeant boy got hands.
Bro,
You
y'all
need a
seen
little
that?
more than hands. What else you got?
Y'all seen that picture with fucking Ethan Islam? That shit is the hardest pick of all time. Like I would have felt safe if that was news reported. Like
You said
it
who?
said,
You said-
Say that one more time. You cut out a little bit.
it said it was a picture of Keith Islam. I said that
Chief
picture made
Keef?
me feel so. That shit made me feel so safe. Yeah.
Why
Like,
would Chief Keef be in Islam?
wait, hold on. Let me pull it up.
Chief Keef in Islam is random as hell.
That
All
shit
I'm-
is so fucking funny, dog.
Listen, it's no disrespect to bow and arrow people, right? In Minecraft, that was my energy, Dean. Infinity
Here,
1, Flame
Tell
1.
me you don't feel safe when you see this image.
You put it in Discord.
Yeah, it's in general.
General.
Tell me you don't feel safe seeing that nigga.
What the fuck is he doing?
What is hey,
The way he come out the smoke, though, like
why don't he got armor on? It looked like he just got an AK about to go to war. Like this ain't enough, bro. I don't feel safe with this.
Why is the headline Chief Keef rides in Afghanistan?
because it's
Yo.
letting you know all your troubles is over,
He
bro.
about to win the award.
Yo, he said he arrived. Yo, said he about to get the job done.
With no shirt on.
He said he feels safe with this.
They got one. They got one clip. That's it,
Yo,
bro.
you know the problem too is that bows and arrows in almost every game I played had utility, but there was never the like you know how like you have meals, right? You ever go to a dinner, right? A restaurant or whatever, and you got like the side meal. Like this meal is before you get the actual meal.
The appetizer.
That's what, you
He
get the
called it
appetizer.
arrows French fries.
Yeah, the arrows are French fries. Yeah, yo, arrows are literally French fries. Like each individual arrow is an individual fry. Like we if you trying to get full off of arrows, you gonna be there all night.
See,
So
You'll get there,
that's
though.
probably the issue I got with bows and arrows. They're not the main course. They just a
Nah,
delicacy.
because you're looking at like you got cheese fries. You got like some extra shit.
right?
Fries.
Like yeah, like bacon
Yeah,
and
you
fries.
fries.
I
and
mean,
you
any
got
variation of fries, you still need the main course. Ain't no variation of fries will be the main course.
If you think about
I mean,
it, fries.
if you went to dinner,
fries
if
are-
you went to dinner, you went to a restaurant,
Mhm.
you took your family out, and they handed y'all all a plate of fries, how would you feel?
I mean,
That's not what I ordered.
I
I don't eat fries anyway.
Like,
I can't argue this one. I do want me a big ass, but I mean, like, at that point, it's like I got options and like,
that's what I would say though, right? Fries do good. Like fries do matter, like as a side. Like if I get a burger, I'm gonna want fries next to it with my drink. So there's some elements to it, but when I look at fries, I don't see him as the main course. And when I look at a bow and arrow ball, I don't see him beating the villain. I see him contributing. Like he could take out an eye of a ogre or something. Like a precise tap.
ooh, that's kind of fire. A bow and arrow that control.
A bow and arrow that can.
Can you talk? Talk on?
Oh, a bow and arrow that can control people on contact. So like when it hit a nigga, like it take control.
That's similar to Illumi with the needles, like the manipulation joint,
Yeah,
the control joint.
Yeah.
Bow and arrow got a lot of utility, bro. It's a lot of,
bow-
a lot of
yeah.
functionalities you can do with that shit, bro.
I ain't trying to throw shade. We gotta make it work. Then we gotta make it work. We gotta figure something out.
You can poison tip your arrows, put some
Yeah,
poison.
poison
in
tip
it.
the arrows.
Don't get me started on my shit in Elden Ring.
Sure.
I got
You can make
I got
arrows. I'm not saying that it can't be lit. It just be like I don't know. Like I just view it as like the side course, not the main dish.
Godfried and Hell mad as shit because I beat his ass with a bunch of bolts.
That's how you got him.
Hell yeah, that's how I get
I mean,
everybody.
but wouldn't you much like what? But ain't a Bloodhound step way better?
No,
Don't that?
No.
And you realize that's why I play Elden Ring.
yeah, because you rely
That
on,
board with the video of
that you
Flex
rely,
on one of the
you
bosses.
rely on gimmicky shit like that.
You said who? Nah,
You rely on gimmicky shit like that.
no. The bull. I forget the bull name, but he did it on Twitter. He made me wanna. He single handedly made me want to play Elden Ring.
Yeah. Simi Legend, yeah. He always does that shit.
But
I mean,
you
like-
don't think that's you don't see
No,
that as like
No, I don't find it aesthetically pleasing because one, this goes into that food. Okay, yeah, fries might be the ass, but the menu is ass. I'll just take fries at this point.
If the menu ass, you can really go wrong with some fries.
Damn, this one trash. This was what made me want to play Elden Ring right here. Whoop, 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 whoop.
He finessing it. I fuck with that aesthetic too. I like both. If I could do that with a bow, I'd be straight.
That's what I'm saying. Like, Dean, I'm God like with the bow in that joint, bro. Like, even though I be a regular ass human, like I'll dodge it. But when I get that aim on you, then I gotta reload both joints.
Yo, what?
You know what it is? It might just be the aesthetic angle to it too. It might just be it's not as aesthetically pleasing
It's the
as
closest thing to a gun I got. That's why I go.
so you're a gunsman. I'm not mad at the gun angle too. Like I like the
Not,
gun angle
and
too.
not
Like
just the
sniping.
gun. Like I'm a pistol junkie. Like
Oh, you a
'cause-
pistol guy. You a pistol.
yeah, yeah.
I ain't
'Cause
mad at the pistols.
I won't take. I love a weapon where you only need one hand to get the job. Like you only need one
But see,
hand.
this
It's
is my
nice and
thing
easy
with the
to put
weapon
away.
though.
It's
Unless it's
portable.
that revolver, it ain't gonna do what it need to do.
Revolt, and then we get even deeper. This is where I start getting picky because it ain't even just. I don't even like the aesthetic of revolvers. Yeah, they hit hard. Yeah, they pack a punch.
You don't like the aesthetic of a revolver? There's a
Nah, they
snake in my
feel.
boot.
There's
It ain't
it's
enough room
it's
for
too
all
old
three
for
of
me.
us.
It's too old for me. It's too old for
And then
me.
you spin the barrel. Let
It's
the
too
barrel
old
spin.
for me. It's,
Stop
it's just
pulling
too
big
old.
ass AK out the sock. Let the barrel spin and you get all 6 shots.
Like a good and classic M1911. Like it just
No,
you
a
can't.
handgun. A handgun works, right? But again, I don't know why I keep going to the OP villain. I guess that's all Jay good for is OP villains.
I
But
was about to say, nigga Jay, did you not see Dante go like this to the?
that's ebony and ivory though. That's a whole nother and they bottomless clip. If you got a bottomless clip with magic bullets,
Don't forget-
Okay.
don't
Let me clarify this for. One of the main things that made Ebony different from almost every other handgun is the fact that it doesn't break from the ridiculous amount of fire rate that Dante puts out. He has the fire rate of a fucking LMG. That's why they made Ebony and
part of
specifically.
me top 5.
Another reason why he's top 5. But yeah, like any other, if he used any other gun, he gonna fire way too fast.
Y'all forget who beat y'all the buff. Y'all been off though. P5 at the end. That big
Oh.
hit a big ass blick.
Big
That was the final boss too. That was a big ass blick. Popped his
facts.
ass.
A headshot, boom,
Big
calling card, and then it was the calling card. So all I'm saying is the blicky with the sticky like there's a lot of utility to it. I ain't mad at it. And even then, it's like I'm complaining about it, but at the same time, you feel like swords are overused. So it's like what are we really saying? Like, do we want the oversaturated weapon or the weapon that ain't used
The
as
reason
much?
those weapons are oversaturated is because like they're really good in concept. I don't think anything is more pleasing than seeing an antagonist felled by a fucking big ass sword from a nigga jumping from the skies. Like that shit goes hard.
It go hard.
Like you're not screaming and shooting.
And swords and shit are more engaging. Like you got
Yes,
like choreography.
yes.
Two niggas with guns is just gonna be like,
Yo, the ting 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 ting.
It's
Yo,
gonna be fucking-
or they just shooting at each other and the bullets bust on each other. and shit.
right? Yeah, like if it's two niggas shooting at each other, you get that.
yo,
y'all
the
just
ting
think
ting
the
ting ting
going
ting
like
ting ting ting. Yo, the ting battle was crazy. The sword battle, like ping, like lightsabers. What was lightsabers?
Swords,
Big ass butter blades, dude.
light swords.
So yeah, underrated weapons. That I feel like that all of this was a huge tangent because I don't feel like we I guess
We
Quan
went
would say
from underrated weapons
because-
to fire weapons, but you know that's just us. bro.
This is weapons
That's-
talk. This is a little weapons
Yeah.
talk. Let's make the podcast great, man.
Facts.
How long we record? It's an hour 50.
I mean,
Is that good
I ain't
enough?
mad at this. I ain't mad at this one. I hope everything recorded well too, because it
Oh
was a
yeah,
couple
that'd be
minutes.
the worst. Jesus Christ.
It's still recording. We good.
All right, cool.
All right, let's close it out. Righty, guys. That was the 12th, right? Or 11th.
12.
12? That was the 12th episode of the TQ Podcast episode show. And man, we're gonna be back next week. Check us out on all social media platforms: Twitter, YouTube, Instagram.
We don't have a Twitter.
all the social media platforms we on. We don't got the Twitter.
We
Y'all,
gonna have to drop
y'all,
a
y'all
link
the
to you at
Twitter
this
niggas.
point.
One of y'all gotta do that shit. I don't know
Actually,
Twitter.
he actually has a solid point in that his reputation was a solid point. But he's the producer though. But all right, Quan, you gotta get on that, Quan. You the Twitter savvy individual.
Nigga, I'm managing like 5 accounts. I could put that on
knew
you.
he was gonna say
You
it.
only managing one account.
Okay, all right. I guess I will spark let's see, let's figure something out. That's on the wave.
TikTok
But
is Team Quasar show. Instagram is Team Quasar. And those are the only two we have, I think. Yeah.
and we'll be back next week.
Like, comment, subscribe.
Say less.
I'm doing closing thoughts. Closing thought. Don't pour your milk before you pour your cereal. You're a weirdo. That's my closing thought.
I don't even got
damn, I don't know. I can't think of that. My brain.
Just take demon advice to heart. That shit is weird if you do that.
You're definitely weird. Follow your dreams, man. Chase your dreams. Believe it.
Believe it.